There have been several near-nuclear catastrophes involving America's nuclear weapons. Some were even accidentally dropped on US territory near towns or cities, some of them heavily populated, and any one on its own had the power to wipe out millions of lives. Today we will learn about America's lost nukes. This is Knowledge Voyage. But before this video starts, don't forget to hit subscribe and hit the bell so that you can get all of our weekly videos about history. Thank you. New Mexico turbulence incident. In 1957, a nuclear-armed bomber from Biggs Airfield in Texas was en route to Kirtland Air Force Base in New Mexico. It was flying near Albuquerque when all of a sudden turbulence hit the plane. A crew member, scared by the turbulence, grabbed hold of a lever to steady himself with the shock of impact, only to accidentally release the nuclear bomb the plane was carrying. Fortunately, the nuclear bomb was not armed, but the conventional part of the weapon blew up on impact, creating a 12-foot deep and 25-foot wide crater on land owned by the University of New Mexico. The incident was covered up and not revealed to the public until 23 years later. The North Carolina double nukes. At the height of the Cold War, Strategic Air Command made sure there was always bombers capable of carrying nukes into Soviet territory airborne. The logic was that if war suddenly broke out and US airfields were destroyed, at least some bombers were already in the air, so could launch a counterattack. This, however, meant that planes needed to be refueled in the air. In January 1961, a B-52 nuclear bomber was attempting mid-air refueling when it developed technical problems. The crew were forced to bail out, and sadly 3 of the 8-man crew did not survive. But the 2 nuclear bombs being carried aboard also fell to Earth. Each bomb had the explosive power of 3 million tons of TNT. The first bomb landed in deep mud in the Nahunta Swamp near Greensboro, North Carolina. The second, somewhat more worryingly, had already deployed its parachute before being found lodged in some trees. The parachute deployment suggests at least part of its launch mechanism had been initiated. And more worryingly, when the authorities investigated the site, they found that 3 of the 4 safety mechanisms built into the bombs to prevent accidental detonation had failed. Just a single mechanism had prevented a nuclear catastrophe in North Carolina. To this day, the site is sealed off, and 1 bomb remains lodged deep in the muddy earth of the swamp. The US military regularly conducts tests to make sure there is no radiation leakage. Savannah River bomb. A partly declassified memo tells the account of a nuclear accident in Georgia. In February 1958, a nuclear bomber flying over Georgia collided in midair with a fighter jet. Repeated attempts to ready the stricken plane were failing, and the weight of the Mark 15 nuclear bomber board made it even harder. The pilot was ordered to attempt emergency landing, but on his 3rd attempt decided this was no longer possible. Instead, he dropped the hydrogen bomb in Wassaw Sound at the mouth of the Savannah River. The US military sent divers to the site, but they were unable to locate the device. The search concluded that the bomb had been lost. There have been attempts to locate the bomb since, most recently in 2004, but the bomb is still not being found. To this day, it remains lurking off the coast. The Alaskan Pacific bomb. Early in the nuclear age, in March 1950, a B-36 nuclear bomber was en route from Alaska to Texas. It was part of a mock attack exercise, as the US got used to its new ultimate weapon and how it may be used. However, en route, the B-36 bomber developed engine problems. Believing an emergency landing with a nuclear bomb on board over the continental US would be unacceptably risky, the crew decided to drop the Fat Man-class bomb into the Pacific. This is the same class of bomb that was dropped on Hiroshima, and the 30-kiloton bomb remains somewhere off the west coast of the US to this very day. It can be seen that America has had several near misses with nuclear weapons, and we are grateful that none led to worse loss of life. Some bombs are lost forever, and some are still ticking away in mud, swamps, or coastal shoals, and there have been no incidents since. Or at least, not officially. Thanks for watching everyone, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, thank you.